Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Sonder Social. I am dialing in from San Francisco, California, and it's been a rainy Sunday. So it has been really chilly, but very nice and cozy in my apartment. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys. I think I lit my candles. I have just deep cleaned the house and I'm ready to get my week started with you all. So before I begin, if there's anyone, I see a lot of familiar names in the chat, but if there are anybody that is new to Sonder Socials, go ahead and shout yourselves out. I want to see who's new, and a huge welcome to folks who are new. I know we have a couple people filing in. It just turned 4 p.m. on the West Coast. So we'll give it a few minutes for everyone to get a little bit settled in. Just a reminder, make sure to set your chat to everyone. That is the way we all communicate with each other and share with one another. So make sure to set your chat to everyone. Welcome, Emily, who is new to Sonder Socials. Wonderful. Super excited to have you folks in here. Great. So make sure to grab your Silk and Sonder journals, your October journals, something to write with, maybe some stickers, some washi tape, whatever your heart desires. And I am joined by the one and only Karen. She is also, she's gonna pop on and give you a big wave. She's the best. Everyone say hi to Karen. She's also dialing in from the Bay Area, just a little bit north of me. So we're both dialing in from the West Coast. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and talk about perseverance. All right. So for perseverance, I always think about kind of how I've shown up for myself in challenging times when I didn't think that I could make it through, but just showing up, having that inner belief in yourself that you can make it through. And I feel like I've pretty much been updating a lot of you on my roller coaster of a dating life. And I would say that I'm persevering in this moment because I had a little bit of a breakup a week and a half ago. So I'm demonstrating perseverance by working through that, kind of refocusing on myself and making sure that I can just get through. And I know that it's a hard theme. I think it helps us reflect on maybe some challenging times and also reflect on how we showed up for ourselves. So I think there's a lot that we go through in life that challenges us, but in those challenging moments is where we see the most growth. Keep that all in mind as we dive into the mind map today. All right, so I will walk through some of the community guidelines because there are a few new folks. Make sure to be kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promos or spam. Respect everybody's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. And then any product and accessory questions or customer care questions, make sure to send that to hello@silkandsonder.com. And then just remember that these Sonder socials are a way for all of us to connect. And I love these weekly setup socials. They're so fun. It's a great time to just kind of listen to some good music, connect with one another, and get rid of those Sunday scaries as we dive into Monday tomorrow. All right, so we'll first start off with the Perseverance Mind Map. So if you folks haven't been coming to the weekly setups, that's totally fine. But basically what we do is we work on a mind map together and we kind of unlock different avenues of how perseverance can show up in our lives. So we'll focus on this week's, and if you haven't done the previous weeks, that's totally fine. Maybe take a screenshot of the slide and you can always fill that in later. We'll then move on to Rosebud Thorn and reflect on our week. And then finally, we will close with, we will do our weekly setup, and then we'll go ahead and close out the social. All right. Okay. So for the Perseverance Mind Map, for this week, we're going to focus on how might you build rituals to help you persevere. So think about how you have kind of maybe set up a routine in your life or helped you kind of navigate a way for you to persevere in challenging times. So I'll give you all a few minutes on to reflect and maybe write down how you build those rituals to help you persevere, to keep yourself going. All right, so I will give you all a few minutes and then we'll regroup in a little bit. All right. Thank you all for sharing your rituals. I know initially I saw some folks like struggling to kind of come up with kind of what that ritual is, but really think about kind of what makes you focus, what makes you feel like you're ready to go. And I think what's beautiful about this is everyone has like a different way to feel like in that zone. So I really appreciate how everyone's been chiming in the chat. I know I definitely got some ideas from you all, so I'm definitely gonna try them. So thank you all so much. We'll now move on to Rosebud Thorn. So for this Rosebud Thorn, it's going to be on page, one second. Think it's, oh yeah, 50, page 50 for your Rosebud Thorn. So I will kind of walk you through Rosebud Thorn. Rose is something that is going well, a highlight, or something that you're grateful for. A bud is an emerging opportunity, something new on the horizon. And a thorn is a challenge, something that you're struggling with. Um, I just realized that these are my rosebud thorns from last week, so I will just communicate to you verbally kind of what my rosebud thorn is for this past week. I would say my rose is I kind of feel like I am just getting everything together in my life and picking up the pieces and kind of refocusing, shifting focus on myself. And I feel a little bit more just ready for my future. And I think that is the beauty in kind of getting rid of something toxic in my life. A bud is one of my best friends. Katie is visiting me this upcoming weekend. So I'm very, very excited to have one on one time with her. It's been a while since I've seen her. So I'm very excited to show her San Francisco, just kind of play tourist for the weekend. And then my thorn is, I would say, just dealing with like waves of sadness. I feel like I haven't really dealt with this in a while, and usually I'm pretty upbeat and positive, and it is definitely different to navigate the moments of kind of like just sadness and just not something that I'm used to. I'm usually on the happier side. So just going through that has been a little bit tough, but I'm just doing my best. So yeah, that's my rosebud thorn for this week, but I'll give you all a few moments to fill out your rosebud thorn and pop it in the chat if you feel like comfortable sharing your rosebud and thorn. All right. Thank you all for sharing your rosebud thorn. There's so much chatter in the chat, and I love it. I love reading your rosebud thorns because I feel like I get a little bit of a glimpse in your lives. And it's totally normal to have ups and downs, and that's just a part of life. So it's kind of fun to reflect on what we need to pay a little bit more attention to and what is going really well. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your rosebud thorn. We will now move on to our weekly pages, what we all came here for. So go ahead, flip the page, and we'll start off at that top box on page 52. So this week, I want to feel. Think about how you want to feel this week. Here are some examples of folks that have kind of identified what they want to feel for the week. It can be it can be one word, it can be a phrase, it can be really, really, really whatever you want to be. So I would just take a deep breath and think about kind of how you want to feel. And I'd love to see you pop it in the chat once you figured out what that word is for you. So Sue wants to feel rested, strong, spirited, calm, healthy, prepared, motivated, cherished, caught up and in control, capable, organized, unstoppable, on track, clarity, balanced, comfortable, recovered, badass, cozy, excited about my life, hopeful, peaceful, um, actions aligned with values. Wow, these are really, really powerful. Though this week I put what I wanted to feel is safe and secure with myself. That's kind of what my intention is for the week. So thank you all for identifying that feeling, setting that intention for the week. And we will now move on to the weekly major three goals. So, for this section, think about three goals that you want to accomplish this week. So, it can be, it can be something to do with that intention that you set, but it can also just be any three goals. For me, it's kind of a mix of things that would help me feel safe and secure with myself, but also just making sure that I'm just kind of staying a little bit in a healthy mind space because that's kind of my core focus for the week. So my three goals are listen to a podcast to heal from my breakup, make plans with friends and stay distracted, and then my third goal is to take time to slow down and sit so that I can just recharge. So don't focus so much on productivity, and it's okay to have moments where you can just sit down. I will invite you all to determine what your three goals are, and share with us maybe one or all three of your goals this week. And then we'll move on to the to do section shortly. All right. Thank you all for sharing your goals in the chat with us. We'll now move on to the weekly to do section. So, for this section, I'm going to walk you through a few different ways you can set up your to-dos. Of course, it can be just a list of kind of action items you have for the week, but you can also set it up in this matrix, which helps you prioritize. So you can do something where you can focus on what's urgent and what's important, and then you can identify what you need to do, what decisions you need to make, what you can delegate, and what you need to remove to help you kind of be your most productive self. So that's a great way to organize your to-do list if you like to try something different. Um, and then a few other fun ways. You can also do the need, want, hope to-do list. So this is basically if you're kind of in like that dreamy state where maybe you need to identify what you need, what you want, and maybe what you're wishing for, it's a great way to kind of break it up a little bit in a different structure. And I think that's kind of fun to switch it up. You can also repurpose a section. Maybe you want to focus on your routine this week. We just talked about routines in the beginning of the social, and maybe you want to kind of revisit that morning and evening routine. It's a great place to do it. You can also make sure to do the to do. You can also set it up as to do to da. So to da is basically giving yourself recognition whenever you're doing something challenging this week. So it's just a great way to kind of maybe you have like certain to dos, but also to das are like giving you that space so that you can give yourself that recognition whenever you complete a task. And then you can also structure this in a different way with like a bingo board so that you can kind of cross it out with stickers. I know we're approaching Halloween, so maybe you have some fun little Halloween stickers. So it could be fun to set this up as a bingo board where you can kind of put some stickers or cross it out as you get through your week. So yeah, so I'll give you all a few minutes to set up your to-do section, and we will check back in to complete the habit and activity section next. All right. I hope everyone had time to kind of set up their to-dos. We will now move on to the habit slash activity section. Okay, so for this one, you can kind of structure it however you'd like. I love just kind of taking inventory of my past weeks and seeing if there's any habits that I'd like to kind of carry forward in this week, or if there's anything that I want to add or alter based on kind of how I did last week and what's my true goal. So it does I typically switch up my like habits week to week, but not too much. But you can also come up with completely different habits if you'd like. So here are some examples. So of course you can maybe you just don't want to do the section. I love this example on the upper left. You can also take a look at I love this like almost like a routine. I love that option of just kind of making sure that you're like hitting a different routine. You have like certain things that you want to do. That's a great way to structure the habit and activity section. You also see an example of somebody who's really committed to their health, and so they're kind of using these bubbles as a place to write some metrics down. So maybe you want to kind of take a little bit more of a numerical approach and then make sure to capture your weight fluctuations if that's one of your goals, or your fruit and veggie intake, or if you're drinking, what are you drinking and how much and all of that. If your goal is no alcohol, there's so many different ways you can structure this. I love the different options and the different examples here. And I think what's really cool is I think you can always choose to set up your goals, or you can also just leave it blank. And oftentimes I typically leave my goal section blank. And the reason for that is I feel like sometimes it just puts a little bit too much pressure to fill out the bubbles. And when my life is going up and down and it's always unexpected, I feel like it helps me kind of give myself a little bit of grace. And I invite you all to remember that the goal is not to fill out every single bubble, right? It's really to do the best that you can. And that is all that matters. As long as you're trying to kind of make a few changes, that's totally, totally fine. And even if you don't fill out any of the bubbles for one of the habits, that's okay. Maybe that habit wasn't the right habit for you that week, and that's all right. So keep that in mind as you go through your week. But I'll give you all a few minutes to identify what those habits are, and then we'll regroup and start filling out the next page. All right. Thank you all for filling out your habit and activity section. We will now move on to the next page. And for this page, it's going to be a lot of different examples of how these sections get repurposed. So keep that in mind. That's very customizable, but of course you can use it. These journals are really meant to help you through your week, right? So whatever you need, that's what this journal is for. So if you don't want to do the meal plan, you can always change it up. So I'm going to walk you through a few different ways. Of course, you can use this as your meal plan, and focus on what food you're going to cook this week, when you're going to, like what meals you're going to make, all of that. That's a great way to use it. You can also use it as a food log if you'd like, as you go through your week. You can also set this up in a few different ways. You can put your daily affirmations in this section. You can use a section as a place where you can reflect. You can use this place where you can focus on 7 types of rest. I love that idea where you can focus on each of the dimensions of rest. You can also use this section as a way to kind of take a big chore and break it up. Today I spent like an hour and a half cleaning the whole apartment, like very deep cleaning. And, if I were to do it through my week, I would not have allocated that much time to it. So I would have broken it up zone by zone, which is a great way. This is a great example of how you could do that. And you can also use the section as maybe an outfit planner. Maybe you want to kind of focus on different outfits that make you feel good each day. So that's kind of fun. Or maybe you have a vacation coming up and you want to kind of get some outfits together. I love that idea. So there's a lot of different ways you can repurpose the section. Um, just keep in mind that there's so many different ways you can use this. Maybe you want to use this place as a place for gratitude. Maybe you want to focus on something each day, like a different. Maybe you want to focus on journaling prompts. I know that they have those journaling prompts that are in the Silk and Sonder app, and maybe you can generate one and write it out each day, which could be fun. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this section, but I'll give you all a few moments to set up your meal plan, and we'll move on to Mind, Body, Health section next. All right. Thanks for setting up your meal plan section. We'll now move on to the mind body health plan. So, I will kind of show you some examples of the mind body health plan. I know that, like, as it turns into fall and it finally feels like fall, um, thinking about how I can make sure that my mind body health plan really feels like it's supporting me is really key. So, typically, sometimes if I'm feeling super, super motivated to work out, I'll put in my different workouts for the week. And for this week, I'm going to mix it up. So I'm going to sprinkle in a few workouts. But I'm also going to kind of think about what's going to support me to get through my week. So maybe it is going for a walk outside and just making sure that I take a time to be outside of my space at my desk because I work from home. Maybe it's going to give myself a fall manicure. Maybe it's closing up with a good book. So thinking about things that are going to help me feel kind of warm and cozy during these colder months as we transition. So that's how I'm going to set mine up. But think about kind of what you would like to see happen for your week in your mind body health plan. And if you don't want to set this up as your mind body health plan, that's totally fine. You can repurpose this section however you see fit. I've seen a lot of folks, they instead of using the meal plan as their meals, they typically use this one and maybe write out some dinners that they want to kind of focus on for the weeks instead of doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's a lot of folks that can repurpose the section, which I invite you to do as well if you feel so inclined. So I'll give you all a few minutes to fill out your mind body health plan, and we'll regroup for the shopping list next. All right. Thank you for sharing how you set up these sections. I saw some folks that write out their appointments in here, and sometimes folks put in their dinners. As I mentioned, there's a lot of different ways you can repurpose this section. And yeah, I feel like it's fun to kind of come up with different ideas and making sure that these sections are working for you. All right, so we will now work on our shopping list section. This is truly a blank box. So, of course, you can write out maybe some things that you need to buy for the week. Maybe your wish list could be in the section. Maybe you want to cover it with like a quote. It can really be whatever you want. So you can definitely use this as a shopping list. Maybe you have groceries for the week that you need to kind of list out, or maybe you have something coming up and you need to make sure you get things for it. There's definitely a couple different ways you can do this. There's definitely some fun different ways you can set this up. And I can share a few that you can see here on the screen. You can see a bingo board is here. I also love sometimes using the section as a reflection section. For example, one of the weeks I wanted to feel inspired again. And so I just use the section to identify what, who, and when for inspiration. I love that. And then sometimes you can use this for like just any sort of tracking that you want to do. So yeah, so there's a lot of different ways you can set this up. So I invite you to get creative with your shopping list section, and let me know in the chat how you like to set this up, and do you set it up the same every week, or do you like repurpose the section? How do you repurpose it? There's so many fun ideas, so I love hearing from you all. But yeah, I'll give you all a few minutes to set up your shopping list before we'll work on that last little box, which is what we'll work on next in a few minutes. All right. Thank you all for kind of letting us know how you set up this section. We will now move on to the I am loving section. So maybe just roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath, maybe close your eyes and think about kind of what you're loving. Maybe think about that rose that you reflected on in the past week, and what you're currently loving. So I would say I'm loving just kind of be doing some more Sonder socials in my week. I feel like that's been really nice to connect with all of you. And then another thing that I'm loving is just having this apartment to myself. I just haven't had that in a while, and it's been really good to just have a little bit of breathing room to just kind of focus on myself and focus on kind of being in my own space, just with my thoughts and getting organized. So it's been really nice to just have all that time to myself. It's been like a little mini vacation in my own home. So I feel very peaceful. But I invite you to let me know in the chat what you're currently loving. Jessica is loving the Manifestation Babe podcast. Nicole is loving having girlfriends to have fun with. Misty is loving last week's challenges are this week's opportunities. Oh my gosh, I love that. Fernanda is loving the morning show, the notepads, hummus, amazing, amazing, amazing afternoon naps. Yes, amazing. There's so much. Wow, it's the chat is going fast. The chat is going fast. I wish I could read all of them. But yes, fall for sure. I love it. I love it all. I definitely love my fall candles that I've gotten. I'm lighting them all. It smells so divine in my apartment right now. But I am just truly loving everything going on. Tonight, I'm going to make a pumpkin pasta tonight because I have all the ingredients and I just want to cook a nice little meal for myself. So thank you all so much for spending this time with us. It has moved on fast. This hour went by so quick. But thank you all so much for being with us and just kind of setting up your week with all of us. And I invite you to share your weekly planner with us in the chat, in the Sonder Club. So make sure to snap some photos and share in there. And then, oops, what just happened? There we go. Here are some QR codes for your reference. We have that referral program going on. So if there's somebody in your life that loves Silk and Sonder, that would love Silk and Sonder the way you do, make sure to take advantage of that program. If you're not on that annual subscription, maybe check that out. If you love Silk and Sonder, you'll save a ton of money by upgrading to that annual. So make sure to check that out if you feel like it's working for you. And then also make sure to check out what's going on in the app. So download that. It's available on iOS and Android. And yes, I will be sharing my playlist. It's incoming. There you go. There's the link. And then Karen also popped in the links to the YouTube channel that houses all of our past Sonder socials. So make sure to take advantage of that as well. So thank you all so much for your time. And just being with all of us and sharing. I know this hour goes by really fast. I'm very excited that you all have done the hard work to prep for your week. So thank you all once again so much. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
I don't need to be anything other than a prison guard son. I don't need to be anything other than a specialist son. I don't have to be anyone other than a birth of two souls in one. What I where I'm going, it's nowhere where I'm coming from. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be, baby. All I I'm tired of looking around, who's wondering what I gotta do, or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me. Can I have everyone's attention, please? If you're not like this and that, you're gonna have to leave. I came from the mountain, the crust of creation. My whole situation made from clay to stone, and now I'm telling everybody I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around, who's wondering what I gotta do, or who I'm supposed